Welcome in, everybody. My name is the Bro Tater Chip, and this is another episode of Tater Talks. If you're new to Tater Talks or you don't know what it is a talk show / podcast that I've been doing to help introduce members of my community to other members of my community. Essentially, a community member spotlight. That way people can get to know other people, get to know more about them, and maybe even make a new friend in the process, because everybody always sees each other inside the chat, but you don't know anything about that person. All you know from them is the message that they sent. But who are they really as a person? What do they enjoy? And how do they find the community? Those are the questions we try to answer here on this talk show. But in this episode, I wanted to do something a little bit different, something that was requested upon me by many members of my community, and that is, who am I? And who is the person behind the screen for all the content that I create, whether it be on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, or something totally different? And in this episode, I hope to be able to answer some of those questions by giving you some additional details about myself and what I'm like outside of streaming and why I started streaming in the first place. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Number one, I am from New Jersey. I know a lot of people, I like to just tell them I'm from New York City. It's just a little bit simpler to tell them that, because to be honest, I'm really not that far away. If I told anybody specifically where I'm from, they'd be like, where is that? It's just somewhere in Jersey. So I am from Jersey. I did originally grow up along the Jersey Shore, so I was very close to the ocean growing up. Was very outdoorsy. I was always hanging out outside, but I was also always gaming. A mega nerd, always have been, always will be. Definitely near and dear to my heart, as you could imagine. In the streaming world and the content creation space, everybody knows me as _Bro Tater Chip. And I know a lot of people like to ask, Bro Tater, why did you decide to go ahead with _Bro Tater Chip instead of just Bro Tater Chip? It's a fantastic question. And for basically at least over a decade of my gaming journey, I was always known everywhere as Bro Tater Chip. Just simple, Bro Tater Chip, no the. The "the" came in because on Twitch, I wasn't able to claim the name that I wanted. It was already taken by somebody, and I tried to see if I can claim the name to see if the person was still using that kind of Twitch profile, and it seems like there was no way to be able to get that name if it was already in use. So I just decided to slap the _ in front of it. Then, from there on, I tried to really lean heavy into the potato theme. I wanted to try to identify a brand for my community and the content that I made. So I ended up calling my community the Tater Tots. Believe me, there was a whole bunch of different ideas I was coming with them at the time. A lot of them were no good, and my friends were like, that's an awful idea. I know one of them at one time was called the Bag of Chips. That was going to be the community name, and that ended up getting sidelined. I know one of them was called like the Sack of Russets. There was a lot of interesting ones that came out, but it ended up coming down to the Tater Talk crew. And I thought it was just kind of cute, kind of wholesome, kind of catchy. And it just kind of really, I love tater tots. I mean, like that was another big reason I just love tater tots. And I mean, who doesn't? They're just so good. You can make so many things out of them. Boil, mash them, stick them in a stew, all the potato things. You know how it is. But from that point on, it just kind of became a branding. Then I was like, we need to come up with a couple catchphrases for the community. So I came up with, it's getting crispy, or let's get crispy. And it just kind of kept going, because I was like, I'm the Bro Tater Chip and the community is the Tater Tots. So we're all going to get crispy together as one starchy bunch. And it just seemed to fit so well. And I think a lot of the reason I wanted to do the branding so heavily is because I feel like a big identity of the community online, where everything is virtual, is that sense of belonging. And that branding does give a sense of belonging to a community. At least it does, in my opinion. You can tell me if I'm wrong or right in the comment section. But I kind of went along with it. And then from there, we created potato emotes and such, so on and so forth. And I'm beyond blown away with where this has all gone, because it is expanded to more than I ever imagined possible. And to anybody that's wondering too, I get a lot of questions. What do I do as a daytime job when I'm not streaming? I am one of the core members of a learning development department, and I help with all the people that are responsible for instructional design, system administration, and all the back-end tech work that comes with needing to run a training department for a massive, massive tech organization. We're responsible for training over 6,000 people in an organization. So it can be a lot, but I do try my best to give myself a work-life balance because streaming is one of my main hobbies. So I always try to give myself time and the ability to be able to stream as much as possible. And we always started off originally streaming 3 days a week. Then it went to 4 days. Now we're at 5 days a week. So it just keeps expanding from here. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, I love streaming. I love being able to hang out with all the people in chat, getting to meet new folks from all over the world. It really is an amazing experience. But giving that as it may, I do love my daytime job too. It really leaves me fulfilled. It makes me feel like I help somebody, because when you're in the training space, it really does give you a sense of accomplishment and a sense of, just really good feelings to be able to help somebody learn something they didn't already know, and being able to help them in the professional space in their career. I get a great feeling from streaming. I get a great feeling from the daytime job, and that's how I like to live my life. I like to surround myself with as much positivity as possible so that when I wake up in the morning, I feel energized, and when I go to bed at night, I feel pretty accomplished. And I hope that, that's always my saying to everybody if they're wondering, how do I stay motivated? That's how I try to surround myself, making it as positive as possible. So I try to do that, and obviously my family and my wife can speak more to if I've succeeded or not. And speaking of my wife, many of you already know her. She's in the community. She is my longest subscriber, as you can imagine. Queen of the Laurel, and her and I are expecting our very first child, which we've coined the Tater Tot of the community, and it's going to be due it's a boy, is going to be due on August 29th, obviously, of this year. So it's coming up very, very soon. I'm recording this now on June 17th, so the date is coming up very soon, and we are unbelievably excited. It's our first child. I am so happy to be able to welcome him into the world, and it's just, being a dad is something I have wanted to do for many years, and then obviously COVID happened, the pandemic and everything, and it made us kind of put some things on the back burner to wait until things got a little bit more calm, and that is now. And I want to tell everybody right now, although I'm making this transition experience to being a father in my life, and obviously taking more of a family man role on, I will never stop streaming. I don't foresee that any time in the near future or in the future in general. I love this so much. Yes, maybe we'll have to, work scheduling out and stuff, and being able to, start streaming when the child is asleep, and, so on and so forth. But I'm always planning on streaming, and I will always be here. So never worry about that. Will I be gone for a week or two, or maybe even 3, to be able to transition to welcoming our child into our home? Absolutely. But I will be back, so no fears about that. Also, with obviously our newest addition to family, my son, we have 2 cats. We have a tabby and a tuxedo. They are about 4 years old now, and their name is Edward and Alphonse. It's a direct relation to the Elric brothers in Full Metal Alchemist. I am an anime fan. Like I said, I'm a mega nerd, so there is no part of that gets left out. I watch anime, I read fantasy, I read comic books, I play so many video games, and we're going to get more into that as the time comes, but yes. So yes, my cats' names are after Full Metal Alchemist, probably my favorite anime of all time. And I know a lot of people like to ask me, do you like the original or do you like Brotherhood? 100% Brotherhood. I think that is the superior of the two, but they were both good in their own way. So don't get me wrong, they were both good in their own way, but I think Brotherhood will always be number 1 to me. So now to kind of get into why I started streaming in the first place and how that came to be. So at this point, we've been streaming now for about 2 years and maybe 5 months. 2 years and 5 months, so we're coming on 3 years towards the end of this year. And really what it came down to, it was something I wanted to do for such a long time. I knew I wanted to stream, but I didn't know what genre of games I wanted to stream in, because I truly do get the most enjoyment out of making people happy and making them laugh and keeping them entertained. I get the most enjoyment out of life out of making others happy. That is a true statement about me. That's no bullshit right there. I don't know what it is, but there's just some sort of really good feeling about making somebody else's day a little bit better. That means a lot to me, and so I'm always going to try to achieve that. I thought streaming was a great way to do it because I love gaming so much. And I never started streaming earlier when I wanted to, like way back when I was in high school, because I just wasn't confident. I was in a different place in my life. There was a lot of, coming to age things I still needed to experience. I needed to mature as a person and find myself. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what? This is the time. No more and ifs or buts. I'm going to jump into it. I have so much free time. I'm stuck home. This is going to be it. And not even that, I was really getting a lot of support from my friends, my family. They were all telling me that I should do it. They all told me that I had the voice for it. They told me I had the personality for it. And I was just unbelievably blown away because I just didn't see that in myself. So I took a leap of faith and I took their word for it and I did it. And we streamed at the beginning. The first 2 streams were Minecraft. I don't know what it was. At the beginning of the thought to myself, I was like, everybody plays Minecraft, right? That's probably going to be it. That's going to be the game. And I think my cousin, who's in the community, a lot of you may know him, his name is Keg Rodeo Clown. He said, Joe, what are you doing? My real name is Joe. Online name is Bro Tater Chip. He said, Bro Tater, what are you doing? You play Phasmophobia. You're already level like 4,000 in the game. You love engaging with people in public lobbies in Phasmophobia, and you love being able to make new connections. Why don't you try playing that game on stream? And I was like, streaming horror games. I was like, does anybody do that? Because I was watching Twitch at the time, but I was watching a lot of other gaming content. And that's when I started to find some of these other bigger horror streamers out there. Flash Force, Gremlin, Mighty Chingus, Tom and K. A lot of the members that I can call now my friends and Midnight Society team members are some of the first people I found on Twitch playing Phasmophobia and horror games in general. And I was like, wow, this has really got a platform. I'm going to try. And I loved it. I loved it for the moment I first started streaming it on stream because it was the one game that I could think of off the top of my head that allowed me to keep up with chat, also keep up with the gameplay, and I felt very comfortable playing it. So yes, Phasmophobia back then still did have a scary element to it, but it always felt like somehow a bit of a cozy game. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but it's a cozy horror game. And I think that's what I needed when I first started streaming, is because it made me feel comfortable, it made me feel safe, and it made me feel confident in myself as a new streamer. And that was really important to me, the motivation to keep on going, because at the beginning of the streaming, I didn't have any viewers at all. I mean, we had, friends. I had a couple people that I met in public lobbies joining the chat, but we were streaming to like 5 or 6 people for, I'd say, 2, maybe 3 months. And then I started to really understand what networking meant and meeting other streamers and other content creators. And then things kind of went from there. But yeah, it was hard at the beginning, as it is for any new streamer out there. But I think one of the things that really helped me, and I tell this to lots of people, is I feel like picking a main game was very crucial at the beginning of my streaming journey. I think if I would have tried variety, I think it would have been very different. I'm not saying it would have been successful or unsuccessful. I just think it would have been harder to try to find an audience because, let's all face it, Twitch's discoverability is not that great. So being able to look for like a keyword in the search bar, like Phasmophobia, probably really helped people being able to navigate to my channel at the beginning. And then plus I was playing public lobbies those first few months, so I was gaining people directly from the game itself as well, new viewers from there, which now it seems like public lobbies and Phasmophobia is like a taboo. Nobody goes in there because you never know who you're going to encounter. But at the beginning of the game's, the game's infancy, I don't really know how to explain it, but people were a lot more chill. And I'm sure there's people that are chill out there in public lobbies now, but I just feel like I was always meeting somebody friendly in public lobbies. And I was very fortunate for that. I still am to this day, because some of those people I met, they're still in the community right now, 2 years and 5 months later. And I'm unbelievably appreciative for that. I really am. Anybody that's part of my community, it gives me their time. That is a valuable source of something that their life needs. They could be doing anything else with their day. They can go watch TV. They can go spend time with their family. They can go pick up a hobby. They're deciding to stick in my stream and watch me play games and talk with me and connect with my community. And that, I mean, there is no greater honor as a streamer than that. The views, the subscriptions, everything like that, it's all sidelined for that right there. Somebody committing time to being a loyal member of your community and watching you every time you stream. That's incredible to me. So essentially, I started streaming again, getting back on topic, because I was pushed in that direction, and people gave me the shove of confidence that I needed. And it really ended up being one of the best decisions I've ever made. If I look back on it, I really wish I would have said to, the younger 20-year-old version of myself, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. Just do it. Just try it. It'll go well. You'll learn it as you go. Because I had no background on when I first started on image editing, video editing. I didn't know much about TikTok. I didn't know much about YouTube. I was learning as I go, and I still learn every single day now that I'm a content creator. And I think there's a big distinguishing factor there. There's a streamer who is somebody who just streams full time or streams, only streams. And then there's a content creator, somebody that streams and also may possibly make content on YouTube or TikTok or somewhere else. And I try to do both. I try to do the best of both worlds because after I started making videos and tutorials online, I think I originally started on TikTok and then I moved over to YouTube. It just made me feel good because, I was able to tap into that training element that I get in my daytime job and bring that to my passion, my hobby, which is streaming and playing horror games. And it kind of gave me the best of both worlds there. And I was really appreciative for that. And I don't know, it gives me a really nice feeling to be able to see somebody comment on my content on any platform and they're saying, this was really helpful. Thank you so much. Like that makes me feel great. And it was all the editing, all the learning, everything was worth it for that right there. One of the things I wanted to get into as far as streaming goes is also some of the biggest obstacles I've encountered so far in the streaming realm. One of them definitely, even though it was one of the biggest benefits at the beginning, was picking a main game. It had a pro and it had a con. The pro in the beginning was discoverability. The con now is that I feel like you kind of feel siloed into that one thing, and it gets kind of hard because if that main game stops making content or it stops moving forward, it stops progressing, you run out of things to do. And it's so hard because your whole foundation is built around that. So I guess my recommendation, and something I'm trying to even do in my own content space right now, is to try different things. Don't go so polarly opposite, like where you go play something like a totally different genre, but just try different things. See what works, see what doesn't. One of my biggest recommendations to anybody, and I have to remind this of myself constantly, is if you don't try, you'll never know. Even if it's just once, even if it's an absolute failure, at least you tried. And that's what I'm trying to do more of. I'm trying to try different things, trying to see what works and what doesn't, and what feels good and what makes it fun. So we're trying to really explore that about myself, and I hope my community is along for that ride as well, because I always try to do Tater Tuesday polls where we go in the Discord and we try to have people decide what game they want me to play for that stream that night. I try to get everybody involved. That way they want to be able to see it as well. And that's one of the best ways I can see as to bringing it all together. I don't want to be the person who drives the content. I want to be the person who makes content based on what people want to see, because I think that's going to be ultimately more valuable. But again, this is all personal perspective and opinion. Everybody is free to disagree, of course, and I would love to hear some perspectives and opinions down in the comment section of wherever platform you're watching this on. Another obstacle of streaming was finding time to network, finding time to be able to support my friends who are also wonderful content creators. That's difficult still to this day, especially now that I'm expecting a child on the way and my wife is very pregnant and I want to be there for her to support her and take care of her everywhere I possibly can. It's so hard to be able to lurk in somebody's stream because, one, I feel bad about lurking. I don't know what it is. I feel bad about lurking, and I know I shouldn't. Everybody says you shouldn't, but I try not to say anything because I don't want to say something in somebody's chat and then them think that I am there for recognition, because I'm not. I'm there to support them. I'm there to give them a viewer. I'm there to kind of listen in the background as I'm doing other things. And that's why I tend to be a silent lurker for that reason. So I am at a lot of people's streams. I try to be there whenever I can. I always have a stream up no matter what time of the day it is, whether I'm at work and it's on my phone, or I'm home and it's on my computer or my laptop or my tablet. I'm always watching somebody's stream, so I'm there whenever I can be. But yeah, I guess it's like that obstacle is being able to find more time just to hang out with other people, play games with them, being able to support them in their journey. I want to be able to do all that. And I felt like during the pandemic, I had that opportunity to do that. But now that the pandemic is over and I'm going back into the office mostly full time, my availability is just so limited. So I guess one only thing I could say there is you got to find that balance for you and see what works for you. But definitely, if you have an opportunity to support another friend out there, somebody that you truly enjoy the content for, See if you can do it. If you have the time, do it for sure. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. I'm sure you will too. And then obviously we already kind of went over the difficulty of not understanding any sort of tools and resources for streaming. I had no experience with OBS. I had no experience with doing like Adobe or doing like Photoshop and stuff like that. I had to learn it all on the fly. And it was actually really difficult. I don't know, like I had to put a lot of time into it. I had to put a lot of time and effort. And to this day, I still feel like my videos don't look very good. And I hope to maybe continue to keep building up those skills because it's going to pay in the long run. I think if you put out good quality content that looks good, you're going to get a better response from your viewers. I think that's just kind of a no-brainer there. But so yeah, I can only say like what I tell everybody in my daytime job too, never stop training. Because the moment you stop progressing is the moment you truly stop moving forward in whatever it is you're trying to do. You stop achieving your goals the moment you stop moving forward, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So those were all the obstacles of streaming so far. Some of the amazing things about streaming have been the community that we've built. We've talked about it already. A lot of people don't know that a majority of the people that watch me on stream, Twitch is very good about giving you analytics on what part of the world everybody is from. A majority of the people that watch me are actually from Canada, which I find to be so cool. Like, I always thought that a majority of the people that were going to watch me would be from a similar area of the world that I would be from. And that was not the case at all. We do have US viewers. We have a lot of Canadian viewers. We have actually a good number of people from all across Europe. But we have a small percentage of Australian viewers as well. Even though the times that I stream were super early in the morning for them, we have so many people coming together from all over the world, and that's just awesome. Like, that's just really cool. It blows my mind to know that some people wake up in the morning and turn on my stream and have their cup of coffee. To be part of their day like that, that's awesome. Another thing is obviously getting to engage with some amazing creators out there. My whole Midnight Society stream team, nothing but wonderful people who are all massive inspirations to me in the content creation space. I'm sure a lot of you already know the Midnight Society stream team. If you don't, it was founded by Flash Force and Coach Chesney, two wonderful people that main all sorts of different horror games. And they are just truly wonderful, wonderful people who have been nothing but respectful and nothing but helpful to teaching and being able to show maybe best practices, giving some pointers, and the whole team really has. It's been a great experience, and I know for sure that if you are a streamer out there, you don't have to join a stream team, but if it's something you want to set a goal to, I recommend doing so. Get out there and meet other wonderful streamers because you guys can learn from each other. You guys can learn from each other, you can grow from each other, or you could just make a cool friend in the process. There's so many possibilities out there. I wouldn't be closed-minded to anything because there's a lot of amazing people. There really is. And then obviously circling back to the main thing that really makes my day is making people's days a little bit brighter. I don't know what kind of day somebody had when they joined my stream. They could have had a good day. They could have had the worst day of their life. I want to be as respectful as possible. I always want to bring my full enthusiasm and 100% of myself. That way, if somebody is sitting down and maybe they're looking for me to be their escape after a bad day or a hard day or a rough day or whatever kind of day, whatever adjective you want to use, I want to be able to be that person. I want to be able to be their energy in that moment and make it as crispy as possible. 100%. And I hope I do that. If I do that for even one or two people a stream, 100% successful to me. So let's kind of transition over to the kind of games that I play when I am not streaming. To a lot of people's surprise, I don't play a lot of horror games when I'm not streaming. I try to keep that stuff specifically for streaming and content creation. That way when I stream, it's all 100% authentic reactions and 100% authentic just general vibes of the game that I'm playing. So I don't play any horror games offline usually. I like to keep that for stream so I can kind of keep, again, that work-life balance. The games that I play offline are survival games, crafting games. I used to be a big MMO player, not so much anymore. Like a lot of people out there, I did play WoW for many, many years, and then I kind of backed away from it because there just wasn't enough free time in the day. But to name some big games that I've played Ark Survival Evolved, Valheim. I played a little bit of Minecraft here and there, not so much anymore. I do enjoy some shooters. I used to be a fairly competitive shooter player. I have a lot of hours in Rust and PvP games like that. I played a lot of Counter-Strike in my time, Battlefield, things of that nature, PUBG. Maybe a little bit of Fortnite, not too much. Was more interested in like the games that had like, cutting edge graphics that were a little bit more on the realistic side. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with Fortnite. It's a good game. I play with friends sometimes. So I do enjoy, that kind of game where it allows me to kind of take out my creativity or kind of get into a little bit of the friendly competitive nature. So I don't really play a lot of shooters anymore, to be honest. I have, but I don't really play them anymore, because I tried to get myself out of that competitive nature, because again, surrounding yourself with positivity. So I've always found that to be the best way, is to sometimes, people get a little sweaty in shooters and you don't want to get caught up in that. So I've been playing a lot recently of just kind of like exploration survival games. I played Raft recently. I loved it. Valheim again. We played Enshrouded. I played, tried a little bit of Ark Ascended. I actually rather liked it. I just didn't have enough free time for it. 7 Days to Die. I want to get into Sons of the Forest soon. All games like that, I find that to be amazing. Like, I like to explore. I like to build. I like to craft. I like the survival aspect. I like playing with friends. There's just so many amazing things about that genre that I just find to be so fun. And also, like, kind of like you're not really on edge, but you're definitely like trying to plan out yourself. They're trying to plan stuff out to make sure everything goes well. Because when you're playing those games, you can get attacked by an enemy or something, or like an NPC, or the element's gonna kill you. It could be anything. So like, it really allows me to think and strategically plan myself. I'm trying to think of the game that I probably have the most hours in outside of Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia, I have 3,000 hours in now at this point. I have probably more hours in Rust, and I probably definitely have more hours in World of Warcraft. I mean, my World of Warcraft hours are probably insane. Like, just nauseating to probably think about how much time I put into that game. And I think the reason I played for so long was because so many of my friends that I met online had played it for so long, and they still do to this day. So I occasionally jump back in there when there's a new content patch or something and play with them. And believe it or not, I've met people along my gaming journey online that I've now been in contact with and talked to on a regular weekly basis for over 14 years. That's crazy to think about. 14 years of the people I've met way back when playing MMOs. Still talk to them every day now. We're still hanging out. We're still doing things. One of them was one of the groomsmen of my wedding, North Rendish. If you're inside that community, maybe you know him. It really is an incredible experience to be able to meet people online, because you could meet a longtime friend. So I love gaming for one of those reasons as well. As far as offline hobbies goes, outside of, gaming and, the horror genre and everything, I do love woodworking. I used to do construction for about 8 years, and I do love carpentry. I love metalwork. I love stuff like that. I love to be able to work with my hands. I love to be able to make something from nothing and then getting to see it at the end and be like, I did that. That was something we put time and effort into, and it looks pretty good. I take great pride in that. And I love being able to do whenever I can. I have like a workshop set up a little bit, and we kind of put things together whenever I have availability to do so. So like, I like to consider myself as somewhat of a handyman whenever I have the opportunity to be so. Outside of that, I do collect a lot of retro games and comic books. I collect a lot of stuff from the NES, Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, N64. I had never really dabbled into PS1. And then GameCube. GameCube is big. GameCube was a big part of my childhood. It was one of those like first consoles. I was like, whoa, this is insane graphics. Obviously, I think N64 will always be my number one, but my number two will always be GameCube as far as consoles. And the GameCube games are hard to come by these days. I like to go to like yard sales and garage sales and stuff, see if I can pick any of them up that people are like, selling for decent prices, because they're games that were lost to time. People's kids got older, they moved out. They said, I don't know what to do with this anymore. They threw it in the trash. So it's crazy to think that GameCube games and stuff of the kind, and stuff even earlier, are just being tossed away, and just we're losing that sense of retro gaming. It's so hard to find now, other than remastered. So I like to be able to pick those up, and I have a huge collection, absolutely massive. And it's too big to even display, honestly. So I put a lot of time into that. I like to research stuff like that. Also, big into cinema, big into movies, big into documentaries. I love if I get off a stream at night and you see me get off stream around 11, 10 p.m., more than likely I'm going to go grab a snack and I'm going to go sit down and watch some sort of movie, or I'm going to watch a documentary. I watch way too many documentaries in a week. I love being able to learn new things. I know a lot of people like to read. I like to consume stuff through audiobooks. and through being able to watch documentaries. I'm a visual learner. I don't know, for some reason, when I'm trying to read, it just doesn't absorb as well. So that's the kind of learner that I am. I'm a visual or a doer. I like to be able to watch documentaries on any of the streaming services. We have so many streaming services at this point. It's at this point, we've spent as much on streaming services as we do on cable, which is crazy because back in the day, you bought streaming services because you didn't want to spend as much as you did on cable, and how the turn have tables. So here we are. Got Netflix, got Hulu, got Amazon Prime, got Peacock, got Paramount Plus, Amazon. Yeah, all of the stuff. It's too much. So there's a lot of content there. Could you believe that sometimes I still sit on the couch and I said there's nothing to watch? It's like back when I was a kid, there was like 50 channels on TV, maybe, if I was lucky, when I was super young. And now there's hundreds and thousands of different things to watch. I still can't find something to watch. But I really, really enjoy fantasy with a passion. I'm one of the best movies I've ever seen, best trilogies, hands down. Probably Lord of the Rings. Big Tolkien fan. Read all the books. Yeah, it just, any fandom you could probably think about, I probably am interested in it in some capacity and can have a conversation with you about it, whether it be anything. The only thing that I really don't think I've gotten into was something I mentioned on a previous episode of Tater Talks with LMC, which was Doctor Who. I never got into Doctor Who, but a lot of other fandoms I could think that I'm pretty into. So if you ever want to talk about something, feel free to hit me up in the Discord. Would love to have a chat about any of your interests or any sort of like hobby you have like that in the fantasy realm. I'm totally here for it. DBD, I play DBD, DND. Sorry, not DBD, DND, Dungeons and Dragons. See, I'm in the horror space too much. Dungeons and Dragons, I've played it, I've DM'd it, so I've done all the things, and I really enjoy that as well. Baldur's Gate was a massive obsession for me for quite a long time, and I've still been playing some campaigns here and there in it as well. Being able to play that has been so much fun, getting to see Dungeons and Dragons come to life in something. And I played Divinity Original Sin as well, so that was a great game too. So those were some big interests as well. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I wanted to be able to do a very, very broad overview of just kind of like why I started streaming, what I do offline, who I am as a person, and I hope you found this interesting. And some of the future goals I have for the channel is to continuously keep making content and keep streaming. I want to be able to, make more content on YouTube. I want to be able to make more content on TikTok. We do the TikTok streams twice a week. Monday and Thursday is TikTok, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Twitch is Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. Sunday is 6 p.m. Tuesday is 8 p.m. and Friday is 6 p.m. And we're always playing something. We're always doing something. So the only days off from streaming I have really are Wednesday and Saturday. Those are my 2 days off during the week. Wednesday and Saturday. You can catch me in Discord still. I'm probably there if you want to hit me up, want to play some games or something. I'm always down. But yeah, my future goals are going to be, keep growing the community, keep meeting new people, and keep trying to provide everybody with the best viewer experience possible, no matter what game that is playing, no matter what we're doing. And I also want to be able to keep making new tutorial content as well, whether it be on future Phasmophobia updates or other horror games out there. I could always definitely see myself staying in the horror genre because I love it so much. I love horror movies. I love horror games. So we're probably going to stay in the horror genre, but I definitely want to be able to keep honing the craft of content creation and understanding it more. So always here if you want to have a conversation about it, or if you have any suggestions or recommendations, always down to have a conversation. I know this is kind of all over the place as far as agenda and topics. As you can tell, I am very scatterbrained. I am not very good at talking about myself, so this is a real shot in the dark here. But I knew it was something a lot of you had asked for as far as the Tater Talks talk show goes, and it probably realistically should have been my #1 episode, but here we are, several episodes in. You get to know more about me now. So thank you guys so much. Tater Talks is on Discord. Right now it's on Discord only. We have a section in our Discord for the Tater Talks talk show. It may be on YouTube in the future. You never know. And I'm hoping to continuously keep bringing on new people from the community to spotlight them so we can learn more about them, and maybe even expanding into some other broader topics as well, whether it be about gaming, whether it be about streaming, whether it be about something else we're really passionate about. You never know what's possible. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. And of course, more importantly than anything else, you already know, stay crispy.